Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. I got a bit of a flu right now. I got a bit of a sore throat, so apologies for the inactivity again, but consistency is very, very important. And even when you're not feeling into it, you got to post. But look, hope you guys are all well. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. Make sure to share it all to all your friends as well. But I'm trying to get straight into it because this is something that's been, again, on my mind for quite some time. And I think, especially after what I watched in the Derby game, I think this is important to speak about. And of course, I had a little think about what was going on. And as you can see by the title, the video is about the problem with the Pgmol and why it's affecting results and things in the league where it should be making the league better, especially with more technology coming in. We're going to look at some of the decisions that they've made over the last couple of years, recently as well. And we're going to talk about what the main issues are and what they need to do to improve it. But like I said, guys, if you're new here, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and let's get into it. So, first and foremost, I'd like to say that the Pgmol are an institution of referees. It's like a association of referees, which, have some of the best referees in the world, quotation marks. And if you're professional in a sense where you have the task of, refereeing big games in the Premier League, let alone big games, just in the Premier League in general, you need to be at the level. You need to do it week in, week out at a high level. The problem is now that every single week a referee makes a bad decision, they're defended rather than criticized, or not even criticized, but not spoken about to, when the way players are. If a player makes a bad decision, he can't finish. It doesn't happen with referees from the people running them. And look, I'm sure supporters and myself have our own opinions on the Pgmol, but they have made some really, really bad decisions. And you can see behind me that James Tarkowski challenge on Alexi McAllister was given a yellow card, reviewed by VAR as well, and that was given a yellow card. That's a clear red. Look at where his foot is, by the way. His foot is high. He had intent to injure Alexi McAllister, and he was given a yellow card for that. Look, for me, when you have technology like video assistant referee, why is it not being used to its fullest capacity? Because if I'm sitting at home looking at my TV screen and I can see that's a red card, I've taken my bias goggles off now, because it doesn't matter who that player is making the challenge and who the challenge is on. If that was a United player, Spurs player, it doesn't matter. Chelsea, United, City, Arsenal, it doesn't bother me whatsoever. But if I can see it from one TV screen on just one replay, it baffles me how the best referees in the world that are, quoted to be the best referees in the world can sit in front of 25 screens and still miss it with unlimited replays. It generally baffles my brain. Now, look, that's just one example of pure incompetence. When you have more than one person watching the decision being displayed in front of you and it's still wrong, you've got some questions to be answered. There has to be questions that need to be asked. Because why is it happening? Why is it happening on a regular basis? Why is it happening every single game, every single week? We're talking about refereeing decisions when it should be about the players. The referees should be bystanders in this. The way that the referee's done a good job is if the referee is not spoken about whatsoever. But the fact that referees are spoken about every single week, every single big game, whatever it is, Simon Hooper's done this, Mike Oliver's done this, it's always the same, narratives. The referees cost us the game, the referee's done this, the referee's given a decision for us, and it costs teams trophies and ultimately valuable points that either separate a team from going down, staying up, winning trophies or not. And that is the problem, because this is happening too far and too far often. Because what they then do is come out, look, Mike Dean as well was on Soccer Saturday, or not Soccer Special, sorry, talking about the game, and he said that's a red card, and he is an ex-Premier League referee. I was not the only one that said that challenge on Alexi McAllister was a red card. My problem, again, is not the fact that the challenge is on Alexi McAllister or it's on a Liverpool player. The problem is the decision is incorrect. And look, you take your bias goggles off, you speak as a football fan, you want the best league possible for your, as a fan, because I'm from England, I watch the Premier League on a regular basis. You want the best decisions, the best referees, and the best players in your league. But we don't have that. because of incompetence and stupidity when it shouldn't be this way. I do not want to be sitting there making a video about referees. It shouldn't be even about the referees, but the fact that every conversation has to include what have the PGML done again? Why is the refereeing so bad? Why did this decision be made? Why is that decision being made? It's simply not good enough because there's so much technology. Like in this day and age, it is so much easier to be a referee than probably what it was 15 years ago. You've got two linesmen, you've got a VAR, you've got fourth official. They're introducing semi-automated offside. Mate, all you have to do is run around and blow fouls on the pitch. That's it. VAR gonna just do everything. But the problem I have is that we have such great technology like video assistant referee, but it's not been utilized to its fullest potentials, not because of the VAR itself, but because of the people running the VAR. Because video assistant referee is probably it's one of the best things they've introduced ever into the game. It makes the game fairer. It makes goals, that probably 10 years ago are given goals or not given goals, are given goals and not like the right decisions being made. Like the Lampard one against Germany. If that were happened today, that's a goal. But no, it was not given a goal because we didn't have the correct technology. And you look at the perspective of things now, it's not good enough. And look, I've kind of went on Google and done a bit of research on some of the worst decisions that PGML have made, especially in the recent times, because I'm sure a long time ago it doesn't really matter to me. So let's have a look at some of them. Excuse me. So I think the most notable one that we're going to start with is this one. The Luis Diaz one. And I'm going to try and zoom in for you the best I can because this is just not good enough for me. And I feel like it's not spoken about. Look, you can't even enlarge it. But look, let's see if you can just click on this. Look at this. Please explain to me how on earth that is given as offside. How do you get that wrong? And Liverpool lost this game 2-1. That's the second goal in the back of net for Liverpool. That game draws. They draw the game 2-2. But they lose the game 2-1. That is the difference between having a look. Let's look at big games. There you go. How is that blown as offside? It baffles me. It genuinely baffles my brain because that I could see that from my TV screen that was onside. I don't need to draw the line that I can see he's on. You can clearly see. I don't know who that is, but I think it's Romero. You can see Romero's ahead of the ball. You can see it. And what do you get in response? Oh, we apologize. It should have been given a goal. Sorry about the confusion. Okay, mate. So the actual details for this was, I know this was a while ago, but I think this has got me thinking that it was so obviously onside, the decision, that the VAR thought the referee had given offside. They thought the referee had given onside on the pitch. But you can see at the top it says offside. So it's just inexplainable. So it was so obviously onside that when VAR reviewed the decision, they thought it was on. So they said check complete because they thought the goal was given. But they didn't realize the referee had actually given offside on the pitch. How do you have this lack of communication? It baffles me. Let's pick out another one. I think this is another one that really, really bothered me because I know this was quite some time ago, but we're going to have to look at this one as well because even though I to this day, it generally concerns me how this was not given a red card as well. And I cannot believe this as well. This was an absolute shambles. So here's another one. It was the Virgil van Dijk challenge, the Pickford on Virgil van Dijk in 2020. Now, the referee had blown his whistle before this challenge was made. But you're telling me the rules do not apply after the referee's blown his whistle? Because I've seen people get sent off when the game's done. So how is this? How can this not be a red? Bro, look at Pickford's foot. Look how high he is. And he done Van Dijk's ACL there. Not even a yellow because it was offside. The build-up was offside. So what? What's the relevance? Another one I'm going to look at, and this is from another football club, yeah, because I think this is important to highlight. So here's another one. It's not only Liverpool. I'm going to be very unbiased as I possibly can because this is obviously not just a Liverpool video. This is about Pgmol. Here's another one. Jack Grealish. The game is 3-3 between Manchester City and Spurs last season at the Etihad. The ball gets played over the top to Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish is running through on goal as the ball's been playing over the top. Simon Hooper blows his whistle. And Grealish is one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Man City score, they win the game 4-3. They get 2 extra points. Now, that didn't cost Man City in the end, but it very easily could have. We don't know what happens in football. That's just 3 from the last 4 years. Someone's gonna say to me, but that's not that deep. Mate, that was the Diaz one and the Grealish one was in one season. Another one I'll show you, because this is another one that has come to my head. And what do Liverpool get in response to this? They get an apology because they love apologizing and they don't like fixing. That McAllister was given a red card for this. And if you can see what I'm looking at right now, if you can generally see what I'm looking at right now, they are both foot to foot. So if Alexis McAllister was sent off there, this is also last season. Bloody, if McAllister was sent off this, how was Ryan Christie not sent off for this? It genuinely confuses me. How does this happen? Like, how on earth do they make decisions like this? And what did they get in response to Liverpool? They reviewed the decision. It gets overturned. They get an apology. But why do we have to go through that process where it's being overturned when we're supposedly having the best officials in the world with the best technology? No one's got an explanation. Nobody has an explanation to anything. And we just had a recent case of a referee being a bit stupid. I'm not even going to say his name, but if you know, you know. You're not silly. And I want to finish off with this one. Now, there's actually an article about BBC Sport that did this. Everton receive apology over Man City handball. Let's have a look at this article. So, March 2022, Rodri handballs. Basically, hits the ball hits his arm. He controls it with his arm. Everton don't get a penalty and they lose the game 1-0 for the Foden squad. And Liverpool that year lost the league by 1 point. Now, Everton get a penalty and they score from this. Liverpool win the title. And what do they get? Another apologies. Everton have received an apology from the head of the professional referees bodies, Mike Riley, after they were denied a penalty in the 1-0 defeat by Man City. Neither Paul Tierney nor video assistant referee Chris Kavanagh deemed it was worthy of a spot kick despite complaints from fans on Everton. That could have cost Everton staying in the league, and that cost Liverpool the title. And hindsight's a wonderful thing. But what did I say at the start? It can be the difference between a team staying up and going down. It can be a difference between winning a trophy and not. And in this case, Everton survived, but Liverpool didn't win the league that year. And to this day, that bothers me because it was 1 point. Everton score, Liverpool win the league by 2. Because Man City draw the game, so they get 2 points less instead of getting 3. What can I say? And I'm sure there's many other examples, but those are the major ones. And you got the Arsenal against Brentford a couple of years ago as well. Like, it just happens too often, and it needs to stop. Just bring robots because they'd probably do a better job. Just bring AI on the pitch; they'd probably do a better job. Because too many human errors are costing too many teams in 2 important moments. And for the best league in the world, it's not good enough. Not good enough. Something needs to be done about this because the technology is not the problem. It's the people using the technology. Very, very simple. But guys, let me know what you think below. Is Pgmol the problem, or am I just, talking a load of nonsense? Let me know below. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.